What up? This is Rama Screen, and in the celebration of the Wolfboy and the Everything Factory animated series, which is now already available on Apple TV Plus, I'm here talking with the score composer of this wonderful new show, Xav Clarke. How are you, Xav?
Hey Rama, yeah, I'm great. Thanks very much. Yeah, lovely to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. Congratulations! I got to watch the some of the episodes in preparation of this interview, and the
Great.
show is cute and it's fun and it's fantastical and it's got a lot of quirks. I'm aware that this was not your first rodeo with children's animated show. You've done Elliot from Earth previously. So, what drew you to the Wolf Boy? How did you get on board this project?
Well, essentially, I was asked to pitch on the project along with some other composers, I assume, and yeah, so they sent me the animatics, and I must say that I instantly kind of, when I opened up the files and I started watching them, within a few seconds I thought, right, I have to give this everything I've got because I love this show. It was everything that drew me to it, really. It was the art style. It was just the emphasis on the imagination. It was kind of the right balance for me of action as well, kind of adventure, and also a storyline which is about the heart and about friendship. And I just really fell in love with the show. So I thought, right, I'm going to lock myself away for 6 days. I'm going to do the best pitch I possibly can. And luckily, it did prove to work out. So really, I think it was just the amazing show itself that drew me to it.
When you're working on a show like this, and a show and a character that are playful,
Mm.
curious, creative, imaginative, like you said, and also full of adventures, how experimental were you allowed to go with your score? In other words, did the creators, Toff and Edward, I'm sorry, Toff and Edward, did they give you complete creative freedom to just run with it?
This was a show, actually, unlike any other that I've worked on before, where it was very much it was a blank slate at the beginning of this. And, you know, what Toff said to me really was, we would like the music to sound like Wolfboy could have made it himself. That's kind of that's an approach they went for throughout the show, that they wanted the artwork to seem like, Wolfboy could have drawn it. They really wanted it to kind of like be his world, and for you to experience things his way. And so it was really amazing to be given that amount of freedom. That was kind of the main brief. And then all the notes usually that I got would be just saying, that's fantastic, but feel free to go more crazy. Feel free to really, push things, and try unusual sounds that you wouldn't. So it was really awesome to be, told, no, go crazier. So it was very much a blank slate. We didn't know what the Everything Factory was going to sound like. This is a place that none of us have been before. If you're doing like a science fiction show, it's going to be set in space. So there's conventions of things that, you would expect to hear, but we didn't know what the Everything Factory would sound like melodically. And we also didn't know musically as well, in terms of instrumentation. So it was really wonderful to have kind of such a blank slate and creative freedom from everybody involved.
That actually goes along with my next question, because I had the fortune of listening to or sampling some of your scores for this show. The one that stands out to me was when Wolf Boy entered the factory for the first time. Your music has that busy sounds, like he just entered a metropolitan place or a New York
Yeah.
Times Square or something like that.
Mhm.
Talk to me about creating that music, creating those sounds that capture the dynamics of that scene or that place at hand.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked out that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes to work on, because it really had to feel like Wolfboy was seeing this incredible world for the first time.
Mm.
And as you say, it was a sprawling kind of metropolis of new things, but it wasn't a city in, the way that we know. It was really this magical world where sprites are creating things. The emphasis is that they're kind of in the Everything Factory, they're creating things and they're making things that we kind of see around us in the world, but they're making them for the first time down there. So I really tried to to think of ways to reflect that in the music. So a lot of the percussion I made myself. There's a lot of kind of reverse sounds,
Mm.
and I just did quite simple things like instead of using a sample for it, I just tried to make the sound myself and go and things like that. So I would record sounds, twist them, put them through lots of effects pedals and things, and I would record little things just like that kind of sound, but then
Cool.
put lots of delay on it and pitch it up and try and litter the score with just kind of quite real things, kind of quite organic sounds, but then used in a context that you wouldn't expect, to kind of try and create this idea that, wow, this is familiar and awesome, but it's a new world that I'm experiencing where I don't know the rules, and I'm shocked and kind of happy, and yeah.
In addition to the sounds that you created,
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you? I mean, I imagine you mostly work on the synthesizers, or did you have a team with you, or how did that work?
That's a good question. Yeah, do you know what? The synthesizer was actually kind of it was a naughty word on this show, actually.
Oh,
This was so, the sounds, they really wanted, Toff was very insistent that things should be organic and that they should sound warm. So if a synthesizer ever was used, it was going to be an old analog synthesizer. So that was cool. There's a little bit of Moog in there sometimes, but most of the time we tried to steer clear of synthesizers. So I really just worked with instruments that I had hanging around, like I used a ukulele bass through a fuzz pedal, and I used an old omnichord, lots of recorder. I tried to make percussion with various things that I had around me. So I have a flute, and I sampled the pads of the flute, just hitting them like boom, 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 and
cool.
I kind of pitched them around to use for percussion. So really, it was just a case of trying to find things around me and put them through various effects and things to kind of, yeah, create an organic sounding score.
And how about character themes? Did you create separate
Mm.
character themes for Wolfboy, Sprout, and Xandra, perhaps?
I certainly did. Yes, Wolfboy's theme there's a few versions of it. Like, I think any theme it should be able to kind of adapt to different circumstances. So towards the first part of the show, you very much hear Wolfboy's theme with this kind of open-ended, mysterious quality to it.
Mm.
And but then there's also a version of that theme which is kind of reflective and sad, because Wolfboy is also a boy that's been trying to fit in for a long time, and he hasn't kind of been able to. So I wanted it to have that in the music as well. And yeah, I tried to write a heroic theme for Wolfboy that could also adapt into different situations. And similarly for the character of Sprout, I wrote a theme and a kind of sound for his family, and the kind of the tree lab where he comes from. And Xandra as well, she has a very sad but heroic theme, because Xandra's character is very interesting, very very deep for a children's show, in my opinion. And I wanted her theme to reflect that. I thought the most obvious choice would just be because she's a guardian sprite, for it to just be very adventure-y, but I wanted to reflect her backstory in the theme as well. So I tried to put in some more interesting chords and some kind of strong sadness in there, the kind of
Mm.
sadness that character forming sadness rather than just being sad, so I did try to put that in there too. Yeah.
What did you take away? What did you take away from having worked on this project, Wolfboy and the Everything Factory? And what do you hope audiences would take away from watching this show as well?
Wow, what did I take away from it? I think that I really, what I took away from it was that the three main characters in Wolfboy, they're really kind of like, they're so different, and their personalities, they all kind of go through these journeys. They all have things in their life, and they overcome it with their friendship, but also just the adventure itself kind of like helps them to overcome these things. And I suppose I found it very comforting to be with these characters every day. I worked on the show almost every day since February, and they really became like friends. And I learned a lot from their personalities. I related to a lot of their things. Sprout, for example, you know, he's so positive and he's so friendly, but he's got some fears that he needs to deal with, and you know, he finds it hard to overcome his fears. And for me, that was very inspiring, going through that journey with Sprout, and seeing him kind of turn into somebody that learns to be okay with his fears. I found that very inspiring, and it was the same with each character. Really, there's kind of this journey you go on with them. So the takeaway for me would just be that it was really, it taught me a lot as well, but it was also just so nice to go on that journey with them musically, and to see the changes in them, and to see how I would try and reflect that musically throughout the show, that their sounds and their themes would change depending on where their journey went. And for other people, I think that I think the show is so unique and imaginative. I think everybody's going to have their own takeaway from the show, and that's absolutely great. I have every faith that whatever people take away from the show will just be a really good feeling deep down, in whatever manifestation that is.
Definitely, it is a feel good show. So finally, Xav, what's next on your horizon, and do you have plans to venture out to other genres?
Yes, I would love to venture out to some other genres. I'm currently working on a show for Cartoon Network that should be coming out at some point next year, which is very fun. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say what it is yet, so I better just keep stum on that. But yes, it's for Cartoon Network and HBO Max, so that's very fun.
Cool.
I'm also going to be releasing an album of my own material in a couple of months, which I have ready.
Awesome.
It's going to be called Magic Arrow, and it's also about life's journey through the metaphor of a magic arrow that points you in various directions, and you kind of, do I have faith where the arrow is pointing, or you know, is it just some random chaos? And yeah, so that's coming out. And yeah, I would love to go into other genres. I would absolutely love to do an animated film at some point. That's definitely on my list of you know, goals. And yeah, I think when projects come along and they take your heart, like Wolfboy did for me, I think you know that it's the right thing to do for you, and whatever comes up next, I'm sure I will know if it's the right thing. Yeah.
Well, looking forward to all of it. And for my fans at home, everybody go check out The Wolfboy and the Everything Factory, available now on Apple TV Plus. Xav, thank you for talking to me, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to speak to you.